Okay, so today is our first online lesson. Let's see how it works today. We are going to be focusing on day 78, and it is on order of operations. And yes, I'm doing this one-handed and trying to hold paper. So, I hope that you remembered your packets. If you did not, then you definitely need to make sure that you view the videos that I've already posted online. I posted them on your Google Classroom and on Member Hub for your parents. I will also try to upload copies of day 78 just in case you need them. So let's talk a little bit about what order of operations focuses on. The first thing that you need to understand is you need to understand the difference between an expression and an equation. So, an equation is what we're used to, and it has an equal sign. Excuse the kids in the background. An expression, which is what we're going to be working on, does not have an equal sign. So here you can see that I have got no equal sign, and then equation, it does have an equal sign. What does order of operations actually mean? I mean, why is it called order of operations? So when you have something that's in a specific order, it means that they want you to do it a certain way. So you have first, second, third, you may have fourth and fifth. It's kind of like baking a cake or baking brownies. You have a certain order that you need to put your ingredients in the bowl. If not, then you're not going to come out with the correct recipe or the end product. And it's the same way with order of operations. And think about what it says, order of operation. So the operations that we know are adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Well, most of you realize that with PEMDAS, or the letters that they use for order of operations, there's an E, and it focuses on exponents. Well, we learned early on in the year with powers of 10 that exponents, the operation it focuses on, is multiplication. So if I have 3 squared, or 3 to the second power, it really means 3 times 3. You're multiplying 3 times itself 2 times. And if I have 10 to the third power, and yes, that's a 3, it is 10 times 10 times 10. So the exponent just tells us how many times we're going to multiply that number times itself. This would probably be something good to write down for notes. Remember, since this is a video, you can pause it and you can stop it and use as much time as you need. Alright, let's focus on the next thing. So now we have my little cheat sheet that I like to use whenever I am focusing on PEMDAS. And PEMDAS, again, is just the little acronym that we use to help us remember what order our operations need to be in. So the operation that needs to come first is whatever is inside parentheses. So the P stands for parentheses. The E stands for exponents. So it's a number raised to a power, or you could just make up one and I put 5 to the third power. Then you have multiplication and division. Those go together. That's why I've got them grouped together. And addition and subtraction. That's also going together. The rule about multiplication and addition and subtraction is that multiplication and division always trump adding and subtracting. But when you have both multiplication and division, it's whichever comes first going left to right, just like you would read a sentence. So if you're going across the page and you see a division sign first, before a multiplication sign, then you're going to focus on division. And for adding and subtracting, it's the same rule as above. Now you might say, Miss Johnson, you're being really cute today with this little snowman. Well, the reason why is because with 5th grade, we don't just stop with parentheses. We add in 2 more grouping symbols. And those grouping symbols are brackets and braces. So a couple of years ago, Miss Barron and I came up with turning it into a snowman. So you can see we have our parentheses, our brackets, and our braces, and it helps us remember what order they go in. We'll get to that later on. It's not a lesson for day 78. All right, so now let's take a look at what your work is. And as I was reading over it, I noticed that I was supposed to be doing some pages out of your math book, which of course I did not bring home. So we're just going to move straight to the homework. Now, what I'm going to do is later on today, I will post the answer key. Possibly. I don't know. Depends on if I feel like it. But we're going to go through a couple of these up here, and then I'm going to go through a couple of these because you are going to be exposed to both. So you really need to pay attention to that. All right, so let's look at the first one. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, and forgive me because I'm doing this one-handed, is I'm going to write down my little saying so I can remember it. And I always group it together like that so I can remember. All right, so the first thing I do is kind of like a grocery list. I check it off and I say, all right, are there any parentheses? Yes, I have a group of parentheses. And if you can tell, it's division. So I have some students that do it like this. I have some students that underline it. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. But I would definitely choose one of those methods because winging it really gets you confused. And 16 divided by 4 is 4. Now, the one requirement that I have is that you need to make sure you bring everything down. If not, then you're going to miss out an operation. All right. Do I have any exponents? No exponents in this problem. Do I have multiplication or division? Yes, I have multiplication. So again, I'm going to group what I'm actually multiplying. I'm just choosing both methods so you can see what you want to do. And then I move on. Do I have adding or subtracting? I have subtracting. And you can see that I never once used an equal sign. And notice how I boxed in the answer. I didn't put equals 5 up here. I just boxed it in. Okay? All right, I'm trying to see. There isn't one that's actually really complicated. But the ones down at the bottom always kind of give people a hard time. It says insert parentheses in each expression below to get the given solution. Show your work in the space provided. So here, you know that your answer is going to be 2, but you have to figure out which way to do it. Now, you might say, well, I can just do it based off of order of operations. Well, that's fine, but I also know that if I do 8 divided by 7, I'm going to end up with a decimal number. So that means that I need to use parentheses for the operation that wouldn't typically come before division. So when I go up here and look, and I notice that multiplication and division have priority, well, if I want to do adding or subtracting first, I need to have it in parentheses. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to kind of do some guess and check. And I'm going to put parentheses here. So if I did that, my order of operations is a little bit different. Instead of doing division first, I'm actually going to do parentheses first. Based off of this right here, I have to do parentheses first. So in this case, I get 14 divided by 7, which is a little bit different than if I had done 8 divided by 7 first. And then I can end up with 2. Okay? Alright, so again, I'm hoping that this was probably enough to get you started. If you have questions, send me questions on Google Classroom. Remember that it doesn't have to be directly to me. It can be to your classmates because your classmates can answer your questions just as well as I can. And hopefully we will be at school tomorrow. Give me feedback on the video if my voice was too loud, if it was too shaky, anything that I can do to kind of make this a little bit better. I was going to use the program on the computer, but it didn't work with the microphone. It only works with the microphone on the smartboard. So, but anyway, have a good day. Make sure you're safe. Don't stay outside too long and get cold. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.